Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. You can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. Yes, I want James Gunn to write and direct a Green Lantern core movie, and I want him to cast Robert Downey Jr. as an older, aging Hal Jordan training a younger John Stewart. Now, the original plan for this movie was for an older Hal Jordan partnering up with a younger John Stewart, and they called it a Lethal Weapon type of movie, and I was very excited about that. Now, David S. Goyer was going to write and direct it, then it was somebody else, then it was somebody else. It's had a lot of people involved in the development, but look, James Gunn knows his DC and he knows his Marvel. I like that. I'm talking about the comic books. This guy has made a great Suicide Squad movie. This guy does not know how to fail. He is perfect for a Green Lantern core movie. Now, a lot of people could assume that when he comes back, he's going to continue doing more Peacemaker, more Suicide Squad, and that may be so. But there's no reason why he can't write and direct a Green Lantern core movie as well. And as I say, people are going to be questioning my choice for Robert Downey Jr. as an older, experienced Hal Jordan. How can this be possible? Well, it's already possible because he's worked with WB, with Sweet Tooth, which is a DC series on Netflix. And so he produced this with his wife. He partnered with Netflix and WB to do this. He's also been cast in an HBO drama, a serious drama. HBO is owned by WB. So I think the elephant in the room is that now Robert Downey Jr. and WB have got a huge partnership together. And considering a lot of people think WB don't know what they're doing, partnering up with Robert Downey Jr. is a big move. Now, we know that Robert has distanced himself from his MCU actors. I'm sure he hasn't, not all of them. He's friends with some of them, of course. But he's not going back there, and this is a great opportunity. You know, a Green Lantern core movie written and directed by James Gunn, because this is not just about an individual Green Lantern, it's about the core. So who's better to do kind of a group thing? And listen, Green Lantern has so much potential, it's unbelievable. This is Star Wars in the DC universe, and there's so many things I can't even tell you about this universe. I don't know everything about Green Lantern. What I know about Green Lantern, I could write in this bit of my hand or the outside of my hand. I don't know much. I know about Planet OR. I know what the core is. I understand that there's Sinestro, and you know, and there's John Stewart, and there's Hal Jordan, but there's so many more characters. It's sensational. Now, we know they're doing a series, but they've left John Stewart and Hal Jordan out of the mix. This means they are planning a movie. And actually, many sources have told me that movie is back on. So, very interesting. One of the reasons Snyder wasn't allowed to put his own John Stewart in Zack Snyder's Justice League Snyder Cut, which I think was a very understandable decision. I know some people may think it's toxic, but I don't think it is toxic, and it certainly wasn't racist. But of course, everyone's racist these days if someone doesn't get their own way. That's just kind of the environment we live in now. But no, I defy you to tell me who better than James Gunn to write and direct a Green Lantern core movie. Now, I don't know how much James Gunn knows about Green Lantern and the comics, but he seems to know a lot about DC Comics as well as Marvel Comics. So I think he would be perfect. I would be very surprised if Walter Hamada and James Gunn haven't had these discussions already. I would be very surprised if Walter Hamada, who works a few offices away now from Robert Downey Jr., hasn't thought about this himself. I'd be very surprised if Toby Emmerich and Ann Sarnoff haven't had this, you know, these conversations themselves. This would be liquid gold. You know, I think Robert's in his late 50s, maybe early 60s. I don't think he's in his 60s yet. Maybe he's a bit younger than that. I don't know how old he is. But he would be a perfect age for an older, experienced, aging Hal Jordan to train a younger John Stewart. I think this would be amazing, and I think this would really work, and I think people would come in to watch this. Look, people are going to come in to watch a Green Lantern series no matter what the boycott police tell you. You know, people are excited about the future of DC. There's so many things in the fire, you know, with the HBO Max DC stuff and the movies as well. And I think a Green Lantern core movie is well overdue. We did get one movie, it didn't work out, but I think that film did a lot of things right. It did some things wrong as well. It's not perfect, of course. I'm not trying to say it's an amazing movie, but now is the time to do this, to get this right, because Green Lantern and the Green Lantern IP is a whole IP with so much potential, and I'm so happy they're doing the HBO Max series, but they're leaving Hal Jordan and John Stewart out of it for a reason. I think this would be perfect. I'm saying I want James Gunn to write and direct a Green Lantern core movie, and I want Robert Downey Jr. cast as an older Hal Jordan. What do you think about this? Comment down below, like, share and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. See you again soon.